Want to dance with somebody? What's up, guys? We're back in the garage. I came out here the other day when it was really cold, and I worked on this thing for like 5 minutes. I didn't have the camera. I was curious to see how good I could pop the tie rods out. This one over here, this bolt came right off. I gave it a tap, came right up. This tie rod's awesome. On the other side, the tie rod is free spinning, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get that nut off and get the other one out. I also took apart the control arm bolt here. This control arm bolt is giving me hell, so we're gonna have to deal with that. And then I called it a day because it was just, and see, I left my tools everywhere. I'm the type that usually cleans up so that I can come back and, you know, have a clean, but it was, man, it was like 10 degrees out here. I'm like, I'm going inside. I'll deal with this in a couple days. It's a little bit warmer today, so we're gonna get back to work. Goal for today, we're gonna get the other tie rod disconnected. We're gonna figure out, get this control arm unhooked, and unhook the other control arm. So tie rods and control arms are the goals for today. I did get this drive axle loose. I just didn't have the extra room. The shaft goes a little bit longer into the transmission on this side. So this drive shaft will come out as soon as we get the tie rod disconnected and we can swing things around. So I just don't have the clearance I had on the other side. I'm gonna see if I can get this lower control arm bolt, and then we'll work on this tie rod. I want to see if I have as much problem with this one as I had on the other side. And the whole thing is spinning. So we're going to have to get a Torx bit, which I don't think I have. So we'll deal with that in a minute. Let me deal with this tie rod. I saw a trick on the internet. See, when I tried to undo this bolt, I only got it down so far, and then the whole thing's free spinning. So, guy online said take a pole, which luckily I have, and wedge it in between the control arm and the tie rod, and push down on the tie rod. That should hold the screw from moving, so that we can get the bolt the rest of the way off. An old Skid Row plan. Kids today don't know nothing about that kind of stuff. Let's see. We set up for this is an 18 deep well. I got my pipe wedged between the thing here and the tie rod. I'm going to put downward pressure. Now, let's see, that's the easy part. I tightened it back up, but it doesn't stick until I get all the way to the bottom. Forgot I tightened it back up the other day. Or it doesn't start spinning, rather. See, now it's spinning. So I'm going to put downward pressure. Can't tell if that's coming off or not. Let's see. I think it is. A little bit more downward pressure. Yeah, I don't think it's coming off anymore. I'm gonna have to reposition things. How the hell do I stand on this pipe if I need to turn the bolt? This is really a two-man operation here. Okay. That whole thing's moving. If I can get my body weight on this thing. Don't think that's coming off. It don't want to budge, so I'm gonna spray the threads with a little WD-40. I'm gonna use the drill to go back and forth and just kind of work it back and forth. So, might get kind of loud. Tight. Let's go loose. And see it right there at the end, it just grabs. Goes tight again. Apply a little pressure downward. What the hell's going on here? right idea. It's just not breaking loose. I don't know why that doesn't want to come off. I don't think the threads are damaged. Well, my drill's not liking me right now. I can smell that. Come on, you mother bitch. We are making progress. It came down by about half of what it was. You know what else is going on? This deep well socket's screwing me up because the drill's hitting the floor, which is pushing the tie rod back up. Okay, let's try a... Oh man, it's getting closer. It's up to the up towards flush with the nut. I thought I had it. I got it! Yeah, baby! Woo! Shout out to that guy on YouTube. I'll put a link to the video if I can find it. That worked awesome. This pipe out of here. Thank you, Mr. Pipe. Okay, now that should, well, since we already know it's loose, it should just come right up. Just a little tap. Boom. Tie rod, baby. Now, one thing I noticed on this side we're going to have to do, let me get a light. There's just no room to work over here. One thing I noticed we're going to have to do upon putting everything back together, I don't know if you could see the tie rod boot. I don't know how the hell that happens to the steering rack boot. See that, how it's all ripped up in there? I don't know if you can see that. You can actually see the metal. So I'm gonna have to cut this boot off with some scissors, and I'll order a universal boot kit, because the universal one we could slip on over the tie rod. And we'll be putting that on. Oh, look at this, it's cracked all the way up there. That's terrible. That's just not one of those things we can ignore. So let me get on eBay and order me a universal boot kit for that. Okay, now we're still on the passenger side. This back control arm bolt, the rear control arm bolt, passed 22 millimeter on the rear nut, and I'm using a 18 on the front. So I just hold the front in place. Once you get it moving, then you know it's coming off. Let's see if I can get a better grip from this. 18, and then we'll use the 22 on the back. That's much better. She's coming right off of there. It's the rear nut. Bolt just slides out. Rear control arm bolt. Now the front one is going to be tricky. It's a Torx on the bottom, and I believe an 18 on the top. I don't have the proper size Torx. I already know. So another thing I want to do today, maybe get all these pans and stuff under the car cleaned up. Put the pan back on the transmission and clean this floor so I can crawl under here without getting soaked in transmission fluid. 18 on the top, I'm sorry, 22 on the top bolt. Torx on the bottom. And the closest I have is a T50. It probably takes a T52. Yeah, see, that's in there, but it's got a little bit of play, so hopefully we don't screw things up here. I'm gonna see if I can just hold that gently because I don't want to strip anything. Trick is I don't want to strip the bottom, so I just want to turn from the top, try to keep the bottom locked in position. 10 minutes later, we got it all out here. Let's see. The nut off the top. Oh yeah. That's what I got to do on the other side. See, on the other side, the bolt cracked just fine, but I got the bolt off and I couldn't get it to drop out of the bottom, so there you are. Front control arm bolt, Torx, probably Torx 51, 52, whatever it is. 221, 222, whatever it takes. The control arms I'm just going to drop and leave it hanging because that's what I did with the Lumina. I took off these here. I didn't disturb the ball joint, which would probably be the better way to go, but as long as you can get this control arm out of the way, get it off the subframe and get it out of the way. Once the subframe drops, you'll have plenty of room to work. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I do have these clips on here that run over to the ABS sensor, so I'm going to get that stuff out of the way. Control arm is loose. There's not much, there's really not much to it. Just the 2 bolts and the ball joint. You can actually swing it all the way back here. So we'll swing it out of the way as we need to. You know what, I still got this stabilizer bar too I gotta get, I forgot. Oh yeah, those move much easier. Whatever works, man. How much easier that moves. Now we're getting into the deep grease. Now we're getting into the gunk. Got to get this drive axle out of here too. Now that we can move this forward, the drive axle will come right out. I popped it out last time, but it just didn't have the wiggle room like the other side had. Oh yeah. See, the whole thing's moving. I don't know if you can see it, but the whole thing's moving, so we drop the subframe, this will just stay in place. Okay, drive axle, and then I think we're done over here. On the other side, we got to take these 2 bolts out we just took. The front control arm bolt, we got to get that out, and I think that's it. Now we should be able to get it out of there. There you go. Passenger drive axle. Splines look good. So I'm still looking for the source of the grinding. I don't think this was it. These look good. Back on the driver's side, like I said, I've already got the tie rod apart. Now this tie rod boot and her boot looks okay. I don't see any breaks or cracks or anything. Everything's moving good. Nothing feels loose. I mean, the ball joints in there nice and tight. So let's get our, since I'm already set up for it, let's get our lower, let's get our stabilizer bar. Beautiful, thank you. See, I can always see my breath. It's getting colder as it's turning nighttime here. We'll just have to roll with it. I'm happy to say that my blackjack jack stands are holding up. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that, how loose that is now. That whole thing can just move on back, and we're gonna have to undo the rack and pinion. And we'll have to run a wire down from the top so we can suspend it. This thing right here won't need any suspension. It's good by itself. This is the front control arm bolt. Like I said, I can get this all the way out of here, but I couldn't get it to drop down. See, the bottom's not spinning, so it's fused in there. We're gonna have to bang it out of there somehow. Try to breaker bar this bitch out of there. I got good leverage, I think. We'll find out. Wow. Damn. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. No dice. kidding me? I'm gonna use the jack to lift the arm a little bit. Maybe it's just in a bad spot as far as the, see what I mean? Maybe it's just a little tight there. It should break loose. You can see that part's moving, but the bolt's not moving. What the hell's happening here? See? I almost think the rubber is fused to the bolt. And it looks like the rubber might actually be fused to the bolt. Yeah, that's what it is. The rubber is fused to the bolt because when I got my hand on the bottom, the Torx is moving when I move this. So it's not stuck on the bottom, it's actually fused to the bolt. How the hell are we gonna deal with that? Okay, so after another 45 minutes of banging on some bitch, I finally got it to move a little bit. It's coming out of the bottom now. I think we can knock it the rest of the way out. It was fused around that rubber. There we go, now it's coming out. That's some bitch. I've been over here for an hour. You don't know because I keep stopping the camera. But I've been over here for an hour banging on this thing. That's some bitch right there, man. Tell you what. So the GoPro went dead on me again. I have to remember to take my charger out. That was pretty much all the work I wanted to do for today. Make sure both those control arms were loose and both the tie rods were loose. Spent about another couple hours out there just cleaning stuff up. I spent about an hour cleaning my tools, and then I pulled my transmission pans and consolidated all those into 2 pans. Just stick those out of the way until we get the new tranny and the new fluid. Once we get the new fluid and the new tranny, we'll dump the old fluid in the bottles, take it back to AutoZone. That's how I did it last time. So I need to get on eBay and order the universal boot for the passenger side rack and pinion. I can't believe how torn up that is. That's not something we can just ignore. So we'll get that. And I'm also going to have to get some of those clips for the ABS wires because I broke quite a few of them. So they're just little plastic clips. I'm sure those are a couple bucks on eBay. So that's it. I didn't get the transmission pan put back on. I would have liked to done that, but it was I'm just getting tired and cold, and I've been sitting on that floor for hours, so we'll do that on the next one. I'll probably go out tomorrow, actually, put the pan on and clean up under the car. I got all the pans out from under the car, so I'll just get under there with some paper towels and some degreaser and clean that floor. I don't really need to film that. What do we got next? Only thing we got left is the rack and pinion, which we got I think there's a set of bolts on each side of the car, and then the book says tie it out of the way. If I remember correctly, I used some just 12-gauge wire and loop it around something and just hold it in place. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it is mounted to the subframe, and the subframe's going to drop, so we need to hold that out of the way. We need to make an engine hoist. I'm thinking maybe a 2x4 with a couple chains, something like that. We'll get all that worked out. That's pretty much all I wanted to do for today, man. That one bolt was just a bitch. I am tired. I'm going to edit this video, and I'm going to get some rest. Maybe I'll do a live show, say hi to my peoples. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.